Hey guys, Sandy here, and today's March 11th, and it actually kind of marks an unfortunate anniversary. This is 2026, so 6 years ago, on March 11th, the World Health Organization actually declared COVID-19 a worldwide pandemic. So I thought it would be kind of interesting to look back a little bit and how did COVID change the music industry? How did it change things for, frankly, some of the smaller guys too, right? So anyway, just thought I'd throw some thoughts out there, and I'm sure I'll miss something. Now, before I get into it, hit that subscribe button. But here's a few ways that I think COVID changed the music industry. So to start with COVID shutting everything down, a lot of musicians, they couldn't go out and earn money as they usually do. They couldn't go out and play shows. So a lot of them actually turned to online means such as YouTube. Now, I'm not speaking from personal experience here. I'm not on YouTube now because of COVID, but I do know a lot of guys who that's where they turned instead of performing live every week. I remember thinking back that a lot of full-time musicians who earned music was their primary source of income, they actually ended up having to go get like temporary jobs, that sort of thing. And frankly, I think for some of them, it actually scared them because I saw a lot of them actually start going back to school, that kind of thing, getting a normal 9 to 5 because they realized that, sometimes music can't be a reliable source of income. And as a result of that, I think some of that kind of persists today. I think there's a lot more artists out there who have, they're really taken to social media as the primary way to, present their music to the world, when it used to be they'd, be doing live shows, open mics, that sort of thing. The rise of the bedroom guitarist. I mean, TikTok's full of them, YouTube is full of them, Instagram, it's all bedroom guitar players nowadays. Likewise, a lot of guys, they kind of gain new skills during the pandemic. A lot of home recording, that sort of thing, digital audio, music production. They learned those skills when everything was down. So I think that's just kind of continued nowadays, where a lot of musicians, I wouldn't say it's the death of live performance, but live performance, I think if we're all being honest, I don't think it's the same level as it used to be. Part of that is also because, a lot of venues ended up closing. I know a couple of restaurants and bars that before the pandemic started, I was playing at really regularly, and they're no longer here anymore. So I think a lot of bars, the economy's actually had, it's continued having quite the effect in the economy, which hasn't helped. But basically just there's less places to play, which means, again, more musicians are turning to alternate routes to get their music out there. Now, something else that I've seen that I don't think necessarily gets talked about enough is some of the effects of long COVID, that sort of thing. I do know a few folks who, because they had developed COVID and it was not a good bout for them, they can't necessarily perform the same way as they used to. I mean, various lung issues. If you're a singer, it's going to affect your singing, and I mean, playing music physically, it's kind of taxing. It's not an easy thing to do. So it makes sense that people who, had a bad bout of COVID, maybe they're not at 100% anymore. Now, the other thing that I thought was kind of interesting is that during COVID, because so many people, they had so much downtime, a lot of people picked up the guitar, which had two interesting effects nowadays, six years later. First off, a lot of those guys who picked up the guitar during the pandemic and tried to learn it, a lot of them didn't continue with it, and they ended up selling off the guitars that they had, which I would argue kind of led to a bit of a flood in the market for used instruments, which has certainly affected the prices. Maybe that's just what I think, but yeah, I stand by that. Now, on the flip side, one kind of positive thing that came out of it is with so many people picking up the guitar and learning how to play it, some of them really stuck with it and they got really good. And I think it actually led to a bit of a resurgence in guitar-based music nowadays being much more popular. I remember for a while there was talk about how, maybe the guitar is done. You'd hear so much stuff on the radio that was just, audio and digitally produced. Because so many guys picked up the guitar during the pandemic, Some of them got really good and some of them are still performing. I mean, look at some of the examples nowadays of really young guitar players who are just frankly excellent, who are, you know, really starting to make a name for themselves. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw some thoughts out there. And I mean, maybe I'm wrong and maybe you disagree with me. As always, leave me a comment. Tell me where I got it right. Tell me where I got it wrong. How do you think COVID affected the music industry? And where do you think we are because of it now? Like what have been the long-term? We're starting to see the long-term effects of COVID on the music industry. So, I mean, I just was taking a look at it and kind of thinking about, you know, some of the stuff that I see. But I'd love to hear what you think. Please leave a comment. As always, share the video, hit the subscribe button. I am trying to build this thing up. And yeah, keep practicing. You're getting there. Take care.